Hi everyone, this is Lee from High Performance Coaching and Training. So today I want to have a bit of a discussion with my group around inner conflict, especially with opposing beliefs along the way as well. There's always situations where we're in a conflict, where we're being pushed and pulled, do we do this or do we do that? And we actually become quite overwhelmed along that time as well. But I want to put it in context a little bit, and you probably hear people speaking. They'll say things like, I love to start my business at the moment, but I keep on procrastinating. I'd love to go on a diet, but it's not the right time yet. I love to do a course, and it's not the right time yet. So what happens is there's conflicting beliefs along the way as well. I was working just recently with a team of people, and I've been doing a new manager program at the moment. And I've been working with a lot of leaders who are actually put in the situation of managing their teams and leading their teams, that perhaps there's some resistance around that as well. And often, you'll hear their supervisor, or you'll hear people say to them, yes, you should just become more assertive within your role. However, and they kind of know that information, but they don't apply that information. And that can be an inner conflict around beliefs and what's going on as well. So the reason why they don't become more assertive isn't because they don't understand how to become more assertive. It's because they have a belief there that, I don't like conflict. I want to avoid conflict. This person can be, if they're challenged, or you have those conversations with them, the person can become quite aggressive, and they feel very inadequate in being able to stand up to that person in an assertive way, and show respect to that person along the way as well. So what they do is they try to avoid those conversations, the conflict that those conversations they should be having. They try to avoid that, and they just hope that the conflict will just disappear. It'll just go away. However, we know that doesn't happen. So what happens is that person, that leader who's put in that position of leadership, they start to feel, lack of confidence and inadequate in their position, and the conflict just starts to build and build and build, and like it almost comes to a stage where it starts to, like fester inside, almost like that pressure cooker experience as well. So what happens then is they start to feel, I'm not worthy, in other ways, and their performance starts to drop, because they start to show that they can be intimidated by other people within their in their teams, or perhaps people in across departments along the way as well. So we have to acknowledge that when that happens, that person will start to spiral down, and you can put them on as many training programs as you want to. However, what happens is there's a belief there. There's a belief there that's been, that they believe they're inadequate, and often that what happens here, there has to be a transformational change, a shift in thinking along the way as well. So most of us have all heard about the iceberg, and the top of the iceberg and under the iceberg, and the root of the course is sitting under the iceberg, and the behavior that we do is the top of the iceberg. So sometimes, if we're coaching and training and working with people, we have to ask ourselves all the time, is it a training issue, or is it a coaching issue? Is it a behavior issue, or is it information issue? And this is something that has to be very discerning with organizations along the way as well. So then looking at research, we understand that most of our decisions, the activity that we do on the spur of the moment, is actually done unconscious. So what happens is that person is confronted, they see some sort of behavior in the team, and they will avoid maybe having those conversations with that person. So in that moment, it's an unconscious reaction to what is going on. And then later they reflect back and they go, oh, I should have avoided, why am I avoiding it? Why is it so difficult? Why can't I have those conversations along the way as well? So this is all this is all about inner conflict. It's about, it's about trying to step into your uncomfortable zone and try and take a risk and step up and start to have those conversations along the way as well. It's important that if this is something that you find difficult to do, that you prepare for that conversation, that you have templates, you have some sort of structure of how to actually approach that behavior. And it's like everything, the more we do it, the higher skilled we will become along the way as well. But sometimes that first part of developing that skill, support and encouragement is needed to help that person to actually take that risk and become uncomfortable as well. So understanding our beliefs and understanding what we do, if we want to actually, become successful in our roles or in our business or, family dynamics or whatever, we have to understand why we do things. Why do we do this? What's our beliefs? What's our values that are actually driving us along the way as well? So the first thing that, emotional intelligence is crucial, so that we understand what we're doing, because we have to lead ourselves first before we lead other people. So having a sense of self-awareness and understanding, what are your values, what are your beliefs, what are your fears, what are your move away values, what are your move away values, what's your purpose, what type of leader do you want to become? This is all makes up the foundation, the core of our being, as the reason why we want to become a leader along the way as well. And some people, when I work with different groups and different companies, some people don't like going into that area because we don't like to be vulnerable. But through vulnerability, there is true strength as well. The other thing is, once we understand our increased, self-awareness, we understand why we do things and what's stopping us and what's holding us back, then we have to look at some strategies to actually manage that so that we can override that and move forward, because the future should not be based on what's happened to us in the past. Because if we're continually growing and we're continually stepping in an uncomfortable zone, what is happening is we're becoming more resourceful. So I may have had experience running a team, say, for example, 2 or 3 years ago, and I had someone who was very, very dominating and someone who's very aggressive. I may be more skilled today than what I was 2 years ago, with my experience within my role and also my continual education and my continual development of my skills along the way as well. So first of all, we got to understand that we're always more resourceful now than we were yesterday or a day before or whatever. So looking at that, I know for myself, if I have any inner conflict, I don't believe in affirmation, but I do believe in having powerful self-inner talk to myself as well. So when I'm feeling that, that anxiety or that stress or whatever that's in my body, I recognize it's because I'm having inner conflict or something's going on internally. So what I do then is, when I start seeing that happening, then I have my own powerful talk, and all I ask myself is one question, and I ask myself, will this take me closer to my vision? That's all I ask myself. So if I'm not doing actions, I ask myself, will this take me closer to my vision? If I am doing actions, I ask myself, is this taking me closer to my vision? So therefore, I understand my purpose and my vision, and I only do things that will take me closer to my vision. So that's how I can determine my decision-making processes along the way as well. So looking at that is important as well. And then it's about stopping sometimes, just completely stopping and looking at both sides of the conflict. Look up for your inner conflict. So look at, the cons and pros. So if I got someone who's really intimidating and very aggressive, the cons and pros. So the cons would be, if I don't address it, then this person is going to be disrespecting me. They're going to, I suppose, take more people are going to lead them because they're going to be seen as the influencer. I'm not going to create a culture of learning and develop and being open and respect. And if I have those values that I want to be a leader that respects everyone within my teams and within my organization, then I have accountability and responsibility to actually look at ways that I can create that along the way as well. So it's like, conflict is always going to be there. So it's one skill set that as a leader, it's important to develop and step up and actually, use that in at work or in your business. And of course, the same principles can be used at home as well with your family. So remember, all our skills that we learn, they can be, transferred into our home life as well. And then it's just taking that time and making a decision to try and address those conversations and have those conversations. And when you start doing that, then your confidence will start to rise. You'll start to see you're getting results. You'll start, you'll start to see yourself moving forward and making progression along the way. Now, it doesn't mean that you will always get it perfect and you'll always get it right straight up. It just means it's always learning and modifying and growing and developing and becoming more skilled at it. So remember, when you first do it, you're going to feel a lot more anxiety and stress before you have that conversation. But the big key here is preparation. It's preparation for that conversation. So it's about mapping out what you're going to say, trying to keep yourself relaxed, trying to think about respect, and actually, making a decision that you've been put in your role because you were chosen to be in your role, because you are the right person to be in that role. So it's having that confidence that I'm not going to allow anyone to shovel me or anyone to actually, not treat me disrespectfully, because I've worked really hard to get into this role, and people have seen my potential, and they also can look at me as a person who's going to be a leader of the organization or leader of the company as well. So being a leader is not easy. So we do have to have those hard conversations along the way as well. So leadership is not easy, but it's so inspiring. You start to make a difference. You start to value people. People start looking up towards you because they see that you care for people, you have empathy, and you lead is, obviously all the characteristics of leadership, of giving people hope, of caring, of, developing people, of being fair, all of those characteristics that we look for into a leadership as well. So I hope you enjoyed the video today. I'm going to put a link down below or above afterwards about a confidence quiz. Jump on board, take your confidence quiz. Love to hear some comments below of your thoughts around what I spoke about as well. And I look forward to speaking to you again very soon. So take care. Bye.